Welcome to Comics with Dan. I'm going to be reviewing the 4-issue miniseries Night Thrasher. So if you've been following my channel, you know that I have a Night Thrasher character profile that I fairly recently did. So make sure you go check that out before you listen to this video because that Night Thrasher character profile gives some background on this character, which is really important for this miniseries. The background that really matters the most is that during the events of Civil War that Dwayne dies, and then during the events of Contest of Champions is brought back. So this miniseries basically deals with Dwayne figuring out where to go next after being brought back from the dead, kind of feeling like he doesn't belong in today's world and that sort of thing, which I think is a cool sort of thing to explore for the character. The basic premise is that Dwayne's shutting down the Taylor Foundation, and this new criminal shows up on the streets of Harlem called the OG. And Dwayne feels that he needs to bring the old Night Thrasher costume out of retirement. Something to note about the costume is that on the cover of the first issue, they show him with the old shoulder pads, no trench coat, a bit more of a classic look for him, whereas the rest of the series and all the interior art show him in the trench coat that he had during the Scotty Young run and onward. So I think it's a good look for him regardless. I do enjoy it. Although I'm a sucker for the classic shoulder pads and sort of football uniform that he was wearing before. So this OG character is essentially teaching kids in Harlem to loot and steal from these new businesses that are coming into Harlem, and essentially gentrifying the neighborhood, trying to get the current residents to move out and build, expensive apartment complexes, shopping centers, and things like that. So obviously the heart behind what the OG is doing is in the right place, even if he's going about it in the incorrect way. In true Night Thrasher fashion, he sees somebody doing something wrong and doesn't at all consider whether or not there might be other motives or reasonings, and if the situation is more than black and white instead of gray. It's later revealed that the OG is actually Rage, who used to be a new warrior and was mentored by Night Thrasher. The middle 2 issues of this series take a look at the inner thoughts of Dwayne and how he feels about possibly stopping Rage, how he feels about what's going on in Harlem, the meaning behind shutting down the Taylor Foundation and everything. There's a lot of self-reflection in this, and Night Thrasher fans are not strangers to that. By the end of the series, Dwayne figures out a way to get the police, the city councilman, and the OG together to peacefully discuss how they can solve this problem without violence and without destroying property. Overall, I think it's a pretty good commentary on gentrification and how it's a very real problem, and that ignoring it isn't going to make it go away, but that there are ways to resolve these sort of things without resorting to violence, looting, rioting, and those sort of things. I thought that the series was pretty good. Honestly, to me, it's really difficult for any Night Thrasher story to live up to Nothing But the Truth, which was his sort of really his primary story arc back in the New Warriors run. It was just such a good full story that really brought the character of Night Thrasher to a close that I almost don't know if there's a good way to continue Night Thrasher's story with it being wrapped up so nicely there. Jay Holtham does seem to have a really good grasp on the character. I think he really understands what makes Night Thrasher a fan favorite from that era, and I do think that translates well into this book. And I think that he told as good of a story as he possibly could. The artist, Nelson Daniel, did a pretty good job. The art was a little more stylized than what I was used to seeing from the old New Warriors stories, which is to be expected because, those books came out in the 90s and that was 30 years ago at this point. So But the art was good. I thought it fit the story pretty well, and there was lots of really good action scenes in it, particularly one where Night Thrasher essentially skateboards on his motorcycle, which was awesome and really cool. So lots of really cool action, and the art was awesome. Matt Milla did the colors. The colors really reflected the mood of the story really well. So I appreciated sort of the darker tones for the darker moments, the lighter tones for when things were getting better, and so on. So definitely great colors. Travis Lanham did the lettering, and there were some pretty good sound effects in there, and the attention to detail on using different lettering in different situations was much appreciated. Overall, if you find these issues at your local comic store or when the trade paperback comes out, it's definitely worth a look. I don't know that I would necessarily recommend it for a new Night Thrasher fan. You should probably go back and read some of the New Warriors or his solo series or something like that before reading this to make sure that you kind of grasp it. But if you don't want to do that, you can always check out the character profile that I did. It'll give you all the context that you need as well. Make sure you like the video. Make sure that you subscribe. Please check out these videos that are also on the channel, and thank you for watching.